What I find truly fascinating, Dean, that's good, is that you and I both know that I've been burned by your Winchesters before, yet you still call.
Yeah, I know, but not this time, okay? No games, no second thoughts. I know you know what this is. I know you know what it can do. I've tried to fight it. I've tried to beat it on my own. And I can't. I got no moves left. Except you.
Well, I never thought I'd see the day. My goodness. Dean Winchester has tipped over his king. But I won't kill you, Dean.
Your death.
And that mark on your arm is the first curse. Nothing can kill you.
Okay, well, forget killing me. Can you get rid of it?
I could.
But?
Creatio ex nihilo.
Original Death, the fearsome but likable horseman, was one of the most beloved characters on Supernatural. He had this intimidating menace to his character, classiness, and awesome humor. A perfectly charismatic anti-hero, if you will. He was not really evil, nor necessarily good. He acted in whatever purpose he deemed important to him, and he had a soft spot for the Winchesters, especially Dean. As one of the most powerful entities on the show, he told Dean he would reap God someday. You can't get much more powerful than that. Which makes his eventual demise all the more tragic, coming at the hands of his earthly son / bestie, Dean.
You'll never, ever hear me say that you, the real you, is anything but good.
In one of the most WTF moments in the show's history, Dean is pushed by Death to kill his little bro Sammy in order to prevent him from saving Dean from his fate to carry the mark of Cain, locking Amara in it forever, and turning evil in the process.
It's for family you must proceed, Dean. To be what you are, to become what you've become, is a stain on their memory. Do it. Or I will.
Forgive me. You okay? I'll live. You? Fantastic. I think I just killed Death.
What seemed as a perfectly natural response from Dean to kill Death instead of his bro Sam was not exactly what seemed. The biggest clue that this was not Dean's intention is the look of complete shock and confusion on his face straight after stabbing Death to death. He seemed equally as shocked as Sam, Death, and us as viewers to have done that. So what exactly happened in that moment?
God created the earth out of nothing, or so your Sunday school teacher would have you believe.
Well, so Genesis is a lie? Eh? Shocker.
Before there was light, before there was God and the archangels, there wasn't nothing. There was the darkness. A horribly destructive, amoral force that was beaten back by God and his archangels in a terrible war. God locked the darkness away where it could do no harm, and he created a mark that would serve as both lock and key, which he entrusted to his most valued lieutenant, Lucifer. But the mark began to assert its own will, revealed itself as a curse, and began to corrupt. Lucifer became jealous of man. God banished Lucifer to hell. Lucifer passed the mark to Cain, who passed the mark to you, the proverbial finger in the dike.
Well, that is just fan-freaking-tastic, isn't it?
So I could remove the mark, but only if you will share it with another, to ensure that the lock remains unbroken and the darkness remains bound.
I'm not doing that. Not to anyone.
What if I told you I could relocate you somewhere far away, not even on this earth, where you'd still be alive, but no longer a danger to yourself or to others?
My initial thoughts when I first watched that moment was of course shock, as most fans and as Dean himself, but then I felt there was more to it than what meets the eye, than what the writers and showrunners have let on. I believe Dean's last moment action of stabbing Death instead of Sam was not a conscious decision motivated by his desire to not kill Sam, but rather an unconscious move that was executed by the mark of Cain on his arm and an instinct of self-preservation. After all, if Dean listened to Death and followed through with his plan, the mark would have safely stayed on Dean's arm, locking Amara forever as God initially intended for it, but would be deprived of victims to its corruptive power once Death transports Dean somewhere safe from hurting anyone else, which is something he promised him earlier, and hence a possibly supernatural ability of the mark to preserve itself as a defense mechanism by making Dean kill Death instead of Sam.
Dean.
I gave it a shot, Sammy.
Listen to me, whatever you're doing, whatever you've done, please.
Hell, I even worked the case. I gave everything I had to beat this thing down.
I saw Rudy.
Well, then you saw what I did.
No, that wasn't you.
Sure as hell felt like me. Brother, I'm done.
No, you're not. Dean.
Grab a pen. It's time to say goodbye.
Hey.
Sam.
What is this?
We need to talk.
Whatever you are thinking of doing, don't. There is another way. You don't need to go with him. You don't need to die.
Why do you say that? Truth is, when I left, I thought the only way out was my death. Well, I was wrong, Sam. It's yours.
To understand more why my theory about the mark makes sense, we got to explore what exactly is the mark of Cain, its history, and its effects on its bearer. The mark of Cain is an ancient seal that was created millions of years ago by God to seal his antagonistic sister Amara, also known as the Darkness, in a great war he waged against her with his 4 archangel sons, Lucifer, Michael, Gabriel, and Raphael. Amara wanted to destroy God's creation as she was jealous of it, and his lack of attention to her, so instead of fixing things between them in a friendly manner, you know, like a family, God decided to lock her away and throws a key into someone's body. Essentially, it serves as a powerful supernatural prison and a lock to lock her for possibly eternity. God gives a mark to his son Lucifer first, but it started to corrupt him, and in Death's own words, Dean, quote, "The mark began to assert its own will, revealed itself as a curse, and began to corrupt. Lucifer became jealous of man. God banished Lucifer to hell. Lucifer passed the mark to Cain, who passed the mark to you," as in Dean in this case.
What? He's gonna send you into outer space?
No, well, he didn't say outer space.
This is madness, Dean.
Far from it, I'm afraid.
No one's asking you.
Hear him out.
Our conundrum is simple, Sam. Your brother cannot be killed, and the mark cannot be destroyed, not without inciting a far greater evil than any of us have ever known.
What evil?
The darkness.
What the hell is that?
What does it sound like? Does it sound like a good thing?
Even if I remove Dean from the playing field, We're still left with you, loyal, dogged Sam, who I suspect will never rest until he sets his brother free, will never rest until his brother is free of the mark, which simply cannot happen, lest the darkness be set free. Then there was that time you stood me up.
You traded my life. I'm willing to live with this thing forever, as long as I know that I and it will never hurt another living thing.
This isn't you. This doesn't make any sense.
No, it makes perfect sense. If you stop thinking about yourself for one damn minute!
It's for the greater good. Once you consider that, this makes all the sense in the world.
This speech Death gave to Dean in Season 10 finale is very important, because he not only establishes what the darkness is exactly, but he further gives clues on what would soon become his own downfall. He establishes that the mark can and did assert its own will on Lucifer by corrupting him, and we clearly see that effect on Dean himself after receiving it from Cain. Dean becomes increasingly aggressive as time went on, while bearing the mark, and it got especially bad after using the first blade, which derives its power from the mark. He kills a lot of monsters and even bad people, humans, in an uncharacteristically cruel ways from Dean, which again was the dark effect the mark had on him, asserting its own will as Death put it, effectively corrupting Dean as it did Lucifer and Cain before him.
You guys don't want to do this.
Dean, hey, tell me you had to do this.
I did. I didn't mean to.
No, tell me it was them or you.
The mark not only affects its holder on a physical level, giving them superhuman strength, but also on a deeply psychological level, turning them into a much darker version of what they normally are. It cannot simply be erased or burnt away. Only a powerful spell from the Book of the Damned manages to remove it from Dean's arm, but at a powerful cost. If the mark is not passed on to someone else, it releases the angry darkness, which is exactly what happened at the end of Season 10 when Rowena removed it via the spell. When the bearer of the mark is killed, they get resurrected as a Knight of Hell, which is exactly what happened to Dean at the end of Season 9, when he was killed by Metatron.
No!
You have to believe me. When I suggested you take on the Mark of Cain, I didn't know this was going to happen. Not really. I mean, I might not have told you the entire truth. But I never lied. I never lied, Dean. It's important. It's fundamental. But there is one story about Cain that I might have forgotten to tell you. Apparently, he too was willing to accept death rather than becoming the killer that Mark wanted him to be. So he took his own life with the blade. He died. Except, as rumor has it, the Mark never quite let go. You can understand why I never spoke of this. Why I set hearts aflutter at mere speculation. It wasn't until you summoned me. No. It wasn't truly till he left that cheeseburger uneaten. That I began to let myself believe maybe miracles do come true. Listen to me, Dean Winchester. What you're feeling right now, it's not death. It's life. A new kind of life. Open your eyes, Dean. See what I see. Feel what I feel. Let's go take a howl at that moon.
In conclusion, the Mark's own will has been established since its introduction in many instances on the show, mainly its psychological effects on its holder. It is reasonable to assume that the Mark has some internal defense mechanism that would allow it to control its holder to prevent them from doing anything that would limit its damage or erase it. In that case, it perceived death as a main threat, as he was trying to send Dean away somewhere where he couldn't hurt anyone else. Presumably something that the Mark finds unappealing, I guess? It is almost like the Mark wants to feed on the evil acts of its holder, and that would have been taken away if death was to get his way. So it chose to kill him instead of Sam. So that's it for today's video, guys. Let me know your thoughts about my theory down below in the comments. Subscribe for more awesome supernatural content. Until next time, as always, no chick flick moments.
Hanks, stop, okay? This isn't you. Okay? No.